have a PGA Tour player, Sepp Straka, with us. He at RangeForce, we sponsor Sepp, and it's really cool. People ask, hey, you guys are in cybersecurity, why are you sponsoring a PGA Tour player? And I said, well, our what we do in cybersecurity at RangeForce is we give people a hands-on way to practice cybersecurity skills. And I think when you think about, and as we talked to Sepp today, what it takes to get to the level of golf that he plays professionally, the amount of practice that goes into that, it's the same thing, muscle memory that's ingrained over years and years of practice. And we'll talk to him about that today. So we think it's a great partnership here, and we're so excited. But he's wearing our logo and being part of the family here. So Sepp, with that, first thing we want to do was, we heard today is a big day for you. So I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm sure there's lots of other things you could be doing on your birthday. Hopefully be doing something, almost as fun as this later on too. So
well, I told my girlfriend this one doesn't count because it's coronavirus, so I'm just staying 26 now.
Awesome. Well, hey, your first question I kind of had was, just talking about practice, and you've had some time here, obviously, with everything going on with COVID. What does practice look like for you? How many balls, how many shots? How do you kind of talk? Maybe you could share with us a little bit about that routine.
Yeah, I'm a guy who likes to play a lot, so any chance I get, I'll get 18 holes in. And then I've always been a good ball striker, so I try to kind of leave that alone as much as I can. It's kind of naturally to me. I've had that my whole life, and really most of my practice is spent on the chipping green and putting green. Just different drills. The beginning of my practice sessions, I'll always be more technical. That's going to be my most technical standpoint, where I actually want to work on my technique and chipping and putting, and then work my way into being more reactional. By the end of the practice session, it'll be just like I'm just reacting to shots rather than actually thinking about my technique.
No, makes a lot of sense. Is there, when you're chipping, I've heard, like Phil like uses a 60 degree all the time. Do you mix it up, or do you use like one type of wedge?
I used to always use a 60, no matter what shot, but that was when I was pretty steep on my chipping motion, and over the last year, I'd say I've been working on my chipping pretty hard. So now I'll use pretty much all sorts of club. I'd say 60 degrees still 50% or just over 50% of the time, and then other than that, I'll use different varieties of clubs for different shots.
Very cool. How about sand shots? I know, like, for a lot of amateur golfers, certainly myself, like, it's just, I'm always intimidated. They tell you to get after it, to kind of have like a driver swing, but if you don't hit it just right behind the ball, like, it's, bad stuff happens. Is there something you think about in the sand when you're, I know you're not there very often, but if you are,
in the bunker is definitely one of the hardest places for amateurs to play out of, for sure. My coach always says you just got to play in the sand. You just got to spend some time in there, because it really is different than any other golf shot. I feel like the other shots you can kind of get away with not practicing too much, but in the bunker, you just have to spend some time in there. I'd say technique-wise, you want to make sure that club face is open, and you want to, like you said, just hit just behind the ball, and I feel like that just takes practice and timing.
Yeah, very cool. Well, this has been a crazy time for professional sports. I know you guys are. I'm sure it's just it's tough. This is your livelihood, and not being able to play. I know before we started recording, we talked about the Colonial Texas tournament being the first one. It's supposed to come back in June. Tell us about what this time has been like. What you're hearing, how the tour's maybe supporting you guys, and any thoughts you have about getting back to normal.
Yeah, it's been odd for sure. It's crazy. We're looking back to the players here a couple days ago, and just I had no idea this was coming. I didn't think they were going to cancel the players. I thought if they cancel the players, we'd be back out in 2 or 3 weeks, and here we are 2 months later, waiting to get the start at Colonial. But it's been kind of a weird time. a big baseball fan too. I love the Braves. So it's been, this is kind of the time when I sit home at 7 o'clock every night and watch the Braves play. But yeah, just sports in general, missing a lot of the TV time that I usually get in. And yeah, the PGA Tour's been pretty good and proactive in trying to get back as soon as possible. I know they're trying to get to Colonial, and I think that will happen. So really looking forward to get back out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then is Harbor Town right after that? RBC?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harbor Town right after. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's very cool. Well, it was speaking of how sudden this all happened. I know we had dinner, I think, the Tuesday night before the players. Then you were tied for fifth or sixth when they called it there, and I was like, it was ground.
I think I fell back to like 20th, but I had a really good first round. Really played well, and it was kind of a bummer at first, especially thinking that was going to be just one or two tournaments and to have a chance to go into the weekend playing well. But yeah, it just happened really quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully things get back to normal. I think golf is depending on what state you're in. I think golf has been a great outlet for a lot of people. That's the one thing that we could kind of do to get out. So hopefully, it's. I think hopefully it'll be good for the game as we get through all this. So I don't know if you saw this, but there was something in Golf Magazine where they said that with the Masters maybe being played in November, some of the golfers would be on their cell phone looking at football scores, while they were playing at Augusta. And so I was thinking, yeah, you being a Georgia grad, could you tell us a little bit about like that University of Georgia, that golf community? It was something that when I met you, you had talked about just how close knit you guys are, and what it was like playing there, what it's like maybe some of the other Georgia alum that are on tour, and how tight you guys are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's huge. A rookie, your first season, because all these guys, them, they came back to Athens for football games, and when you went on your recruiting trips, you hung out with all those guys. So it just kind of brings a little bit of normalcy to your rookie year, when everything's just so intimidating. But when you're playing practice rounds, it just feels a little more normal and a little more comfortable, I guess. So it's huge for that, and yeah, just a bunch of good guys, going out to dinner. It's great to have that support out there.
Who I know is it Kevin Kisner is he's a Bulldog. Who are some of the others that for our audience who may not know?
Yeah, Kiz, he's probably one of the better guys out there. He's a hoot. And then Harris English is out there. I'm good friends with him. Hudson Swafford, Keith Mitchell, Brian Harmon, got Bubba Watson. Now, I'm forgetting some people, but Brendan Todd, Chris Kirk, is just a whole bunch of guys out there that they're just good guys, and it's awesome to have that community out there.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And I know you mentioned that you got to play Augusta when you were in college, right? With that, with
Once a year, yeah.
Yeah, so cool. Was there something that was that stood out for you, like a favorite hole or something about Augusta that you know?
The thing I took away the most is just my first time walking out through the clubhouse. You walk out back and you can just see the whole golf course. I mean, it's wide open, just this huge, just lush green piece of property. And it's just the second you step onto it, it's just a special place. It really is.
Very cool. That's awesome. Well, good stuff. Well, we're going to move to questions very soon here, but just a couple other questions on my side. I know you played in the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach last year, and just love to hear what it was like playing in the U.S. Open, just the experience, and I know you'll be back out there very soon in these majors, but we'd love to hear your take on that one.
It was special. Pebble is one of my favorite places in the world. So to have my first U.S. Open there, my first major there was really special. And then to be able to play well, especially on Sunday with actually play with Harris English that Sunday, that was a good time. And I remember it was Phil's birthday, and he was playing right behind us, and we had a bet on how many times the stands would sing "Happy Birthday" for him, and I think the over/under was 8, and I lost it on the last green. So they're saying on the 18, saying "Happy Birthday" for him, so for me to lose the bet. But yeah, it was just a special week. Being able to finish well too was just the.
Yeah, that's great. And you'll play in the PGA this year at Harding Park, right? That's okay.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's a have you played that course before?
I've not, but I heard it's awesome. I heard it's really good.
It's really cool. It's especially, just kind of in the middle of San Francisco there, and it's surrounded by Olympic Club and everything else. So it's just kind of the mecca of golf right there.
Yeah, I played it. I feel like you've played every golf course in America.
I mean, I'm just totally geeking out right now, Sepp, just so you know. So this is like usually my webinars are like talking about cybersecurity, and now I'm gonna get all sorts of what from people on this line about I've never seen you smile so much on a webinar. So this is fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, maybe last question I'll have for you is any fun stories about you mentioned something about Phil. Some of these guys that we've certainly grown up with. I remember asking you said you had Tiger was your hero growing up. Any fun stories maybe that you've had or interactions you've had with some of the veterans out there?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Tiger playing the Genesis Open this year earlier in January. I was in the line at lunch right behind Tiger, and I had this whole thing dreamt up about when I would see Tiger. I'd go up and shake his hand, introduce myself, and I completely froze up. I mean, I didn't say a word. I stayed 3 feet up. I was doing social distancing before it was even a thing with him, so I stayed 3 feet away from him, made sure I didn't get in his way, and yeah, it's pretty intimidating to see Tiger out there. And then another one was just playing with Rory in the Canadian Open last year on Saturday. That was pretty cool. It was just packed house, so many spectators, and he ended up shooting like 7 under or something, and going on to win by 5 or 6 or something. It was a special. It was fun to watch him play, but I definitely got caught watching instead of playing my own game. So that's something else I've had to learn, and I think I learned pretty well over the last year.
Yeah, I'd imagine. But you know what? I just feel like there's going to be a Sunday this year. You're going to be up with those guys, and you're just going to take them down. We have faith in you, man. You're going to
exactly right. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, I think at this point, if you're good, Sepp, we're just going to open it up for some questions, and we'll see if people come in with and go from there. So they're going to be typing in the chat here. Will, are we good with that?
Yes, sir. You should be able to see if you click the moderated button on the right side. Sepp, I don't think you'll be able to see them, but Gordon, you'll be able to see them. Moderated and just read down the list. There's a bunch.
Yeah. All right. Great. So the first one we have, Sepp, is what qualities make a great professional golfer?
That's a tough one. There's a lot. It's just I feel like the main thing is just be good at what you're good at. If your strength is putting, then be really good at putting. Be the best at putting. If your strength is driving, then you got to be the best at driving the ball. And then kind of fill in the other stuff around it. But whatever you're good at is, I think, the thing you need to just excel and really be just a special talent and really hone that talent, really practice it. And I think that's probably the main key.
Awesome. Another question we had was, fans. Look, sounds like fans may not be permitted, at least in at these first events. Will that be harder for you, or is it? Do you think there'll be an effect on the adrenaline when you're playing?
I think it'll definitely feel different. Just especially the big holes, with the big grandstands. I don't even know. They'll probably won't even have the grandstands up. So the holes will look different. The feel will be different. It may affect your nerves a little bit. Won't be as nervous, especially come the weekend. But I think those will probably still be there because trying to win a tournament, the nerves are definitely still going to be there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to it. I really like playing with fans out there, but definitely ready to see what it'll feel like.
Yeah, that's great. Here's one. So after a good performance, is there a way that you reward yourself or something that you do? It's a routine.
Ice cream for sure. I usually enjoy a good meal, probably on Sunday night, and a nice dessert to top it up.
Very cool. Okay. Here's one. What is the best advice that fellow players have given you about being a tour pro?
The best piece of advice I've got was just to love your own game. It's easy to get starstruck out there because there's a lot of guys that do a lot of things really well, but you really have to love your own talent. You have to love your own game and appreciate how good you are when you've already made it there. Obviously, there's a reason you're there, and just to really understand that you are as good at what you do as other people.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then someone asked here, how do you keep your mind calm under pressure? Is there any breathing or something like that you do?
That's a tough one. I feel like a lot of that is there's definitely ways that you can help your mind from wandering, because it's easy to just get into a cycle of almost having a conversation with yourself out there. I think breathing is a great way to do it. Just focus on your breath. And the main thing is just monitoring your thoughts. Just know what you're thinking. You're going to have bad thoughts, but I'd say just really monitoring it. And when you have those bad thoughts, just go into focusing on your breath, on something that you can control.
Right. So, question from one of the people here. What is your favorite piece of equipment? And they asked, driver, putter. But before you answer that, I was going to ask you, what is your driver distance? What's your average driver distance right now for things?
I'm not sure what it is on the app, but I'm carrying the ball about 300.
Okay.
Then kind of depending on firmness, plus a couple.
Right. It's just crazy because I think what most even single digit amateur handicaps, like the average carry is like 220 or 230, right? It's like so much less.
Yeah.
So
it's easy to kind of fib on your driving distance because you get downwind, you get a little roll out and some firm fairways, and you think you're hitting it farther than you are, but then when you have that bunker sitting there at 295, you gotta know your actual carry number to make sure you actually know if you can get it over that bunker or not.
Yeah, good stuff. This is from a friend of mine who I've played a lot of golf with, who's also in cybersecurity. He says, other than Augusta, what's your favorite course in Georgia?
Favorite course in Georgia? That's a good question. Augusta would definitely be number one. The course I grew up at in South Georgia in Valdosta is a really good golf course, Kinderly Forest. It's always in really good shape too, and I'm actually going home this weekend to. I'm looking forward to playing it. That'd definitely be up there on my list. Other than that, there's a course kind of up in the mountains called Currahee that we got to play at a good bit. It's a great golf course, a lot of undulations, and it's just a fun course to play. I'd say those are probably up there. And one more I'm forgetting, Peachtree in Atlanta is special piece of property. That place is fun to play.
Yeah. Bobby Jones, the one he built after Augusta.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Very cool. And then overall favorite course in the world that you've ever played? Is there one that you could name there?
Augusta would be that one. Yeah, it's I love that one. It's a great spot.
Awesome. Very cool. So this is from a friend of mine in Europe, also in cybersecurity. I think most people don't know unless they look at your profile that you're half Austrian and half American.
That's right.
Mom's from the U.S., dad's Austrian. So this is his question. I'm reading it. I'm not paraphrasing anything here. He said, "Your U.S. accent is much better than the other famous Austrian, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Where did you grow up, and how did you get into golf?"
Say that one more time. Sorry, it was breaking up.
Sorry, your U.S. accent is much better than the other famous Austrian Arnold Schwarzenegger. Where did you grow up, and how did you get into golf?
It's funny. Yeah, I grew up in Austria, lived there till I was 14. But yeah, no accent at all here. My mom's from South Georgia. She raised me speaking English, and my dad spoke German to me. So I got the best of both worlds there. And yeah, I grew up playing in Austria till I was 14. And then we moved to South Georgia, be close to my mom's side of the family.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, I don't mean to be on the spot. Do you have any clubs in the room with you?
I've got some just next door.
I won't do it, but I was gonna. Someone was asking about. They wanted to see what your grip looked like, but I don't want you giving away any trade secrets here. We'll hold on that one. We can send out a picture to this select group that afterwards. They promise not to share.
Perfect. So. I'll send you a picture with my grip later.
So this is another guy that I have played golf with. He says, and once again I didn't plant this one, Sepp, but he's like, do you think Gordon would make a good caddy?
I think so, because you've played just about every course in America. So I think you got some pretty good course knowledge on most of the tracks.
That's very kind of you, but you haven't seen my math skills, and so it might be some issues. So that's funny. All right, here's a good one. Any superstitions? I read something one time that Ernie Els will never play with a yellow tee, for example, and people have the same ball mark. Do you do any of that stuff?
Yeah, I've got some. So at any given time, I will only have one tee in my pocket. Most people carry about 4 or 5. So
okay.
If you'll watch me, you'll see me ask my caddy for a tee a lot, because if it breaks, I'll need another one. But yeah, only one tee, one ball marker, and one divot tool in my pocket at all times.
Okay. This one's kind of funny. Where do you stay when you get to tourneys? Nice hotels or dives?
Kind of in the middle, I'd say. Kind of down the middle. I usually don't splurge too much, but you want to have a nice bed to sleep on, especially if you're on the road for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's cool. Also, one of the things when we met, I was asking you about just what the tour does and your agents do to help with logistics. Like, when you make it to the PGA Tour, obviously you have to play well to do well financially. But like, there's courtesy cars, there's the places you can rent and all those things. It seems like it's a little bit, maybe a lot easier than Korn Ferry or other places.
Yeah, for sure. They organize everything to the T. So once you land, they'll give you the keys to your car. You put your stuff in your car and you go. We've got a girl with our agency, Michelle. She does a phenomenal job at organizing stuff for me. So yeah, she's really on top of stuff. So yeah, once you get to the PGA Tour, they really make your life easy.
Yeah, that's great. And then I know I'd ask you this. I know it's kind of in the weeds, but just the amount of clothing. Like, there's someone that embroiders the clothes with logos, and you get a lot, and the laundry's taken care of. So it's not like you have to go down and find coins, right, to wash clothes when you're on the road.
Exactly. I've got for the Korn Ferry stops, I've got all the laundromats mapped out for the schedule. But yeah, out on the PGA, they've got laundry in the locker rooms, and they'll take care of all that for you. So it's really, they really make it easy for you to focus on the golf.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, we'll do a couple more here, Sepp, if that's all right with you, if you're good on time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay. So someone asked, do you enjoy all the travel, or is it tiresome?
I'm loving it. I really am. Still young, so it's easier for me than some of the other guys. I don't have a family yet, and so yeah, I'm really enjoying, especially finding new places, new tournaments that I get into. It's been a blast, really getting to all these spots, playing great golf courses every week. So yeah, I'm loving it right now.
Yeah. I think people, maybe people that are into golf, but people who aren't into golf realize like just how hard you guys work to get to this level. So when you're playing in these tournaments, like when we talked, it was like, it's almost like you're so grateful and excited to be there that it's it's really cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's awesome, especially tournaments that you grew up watching on TV, like the U.S. Open at Pebble. You're hitting the shots that you were watching guys hit on TV. So it's definitely rewarding.
Awesome. Someone was asking here. I'm purchasing. This is going to be shameless sponsor plug here. I'm I'm purchasing a new putter for a gift for a golfer with a 4 handicap. What is your recommendation?
A new putter. What did you say the handicap was?
A 4.
A 4. I would say you definitely want to try out whether you want a blade putter or a mallet putter. Basically, meaning if there's any toe, there's basically putters that swing a lot with the toe, and that some putters that stay more stable in the stroke. Me personally, I like a mallet. I've never been able to putt with a blade putter very well. But I would say the main distinction is to figure out which one of those types that you like the best. And then after that, just one that really suits your eye. I wouldn't say there's a brand that's better than another one. I mean, people love Scotties because they're pretty. I do too. I love a nice Scotty blade putter, but I can't putt with it very well. So,
yeah.
So I'd say, the main thing I'd say is whether you like a blade putter or a mallet, and then from there, just really what suits your eye.
Very cool. So this question is cracking me up, so I have to ask you. This is, will young guns like yourself be an advantage when the tour resumes with so many other pros having to babysit their kids?
I mean, it can't hurt, they're at home, having families, and it's I'm going out to play golf every day, so it definitely won't hurt us young guys. But it'll be, I was thinking about that too. It'll be interesting to see who kind of excels through this whole period and who struggles to get back into it. But we'll have to see that in June.
Yeah. Well, I also think it helps, just where you live in Alabama. I think that you're kind of playing in a climate like that's going to be conducive to when you get back. Whether you're like in a place similar to what these early tournaments are with the heat, probably even the Bermuda conditions, I would think. So it's probably a good advantage there too. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we jump back in, the courses are going to look a lot like what I'm playing out here, with the grass being the same and the weather being pretty similar. So, that'll definitely help out.
Very cool. This is a great question. All right, 2 more, I promise, Sepp. This one I have.
Got plenty of time.
All right. Which team would you play for in the Ryder Cup, Europe or the USA?
That's a good question that I get a lot, and I'd have to say whichever one asks first.
That's a good
bias on that one.
we were talking about too the Olympics. I think you were like the first alternate for the Austrian Olympic team before the Olympics got delayed too. So that's I think for some of these it's good. It's having the dual citizenship is to your advantage in a lot of these. Yeah,
for sure. There's a couple of really good golfers in Austria, Bernd Wiesberger and Matthias Schwab, that have had great seasons. So I was first in line after those 2 guys. And now with them getting pushed back, I'm hoping I'll be able to make a run for it. Awesome.
Well, this has been awesome, Sepp. I got one more for you, which I think was a very cool question here. What is your dream foursome? You can make it a fivesome if you want to include me in that. But your dream foursome are the 3 other guys that you'd want to play with.
Dream foursome would have to be Tiger for sure. There's no doubt on that one. Probably Mo Norman.
Oh yeah. Can you tell us about that? People may not know the story on him.
Yeah, Mo. He's a Canadian golfer. He passed away a few years ago, but he was considered the best ball striker of all time. I think he had autism or something along those lines. So back then he wasn't really accepted very well in the golf world, but he was odd guy who really struck the ball well. And there's just so many great stories. If anybody's like a golf nut, look into Mo Norman. He's a breath of fresh air for sure. And just unbelievable videos of him hitting golf shots. It's pretty cool to watch.
And the swing was crazy, right? It was like so unorthodox.
Yeah, homemade golf swing. He invented the single plane golf swing, and he's got this huge wide stance, arms all stretched out. But that ball comes out, and it's just dead straight every time. So it's pretty cool to watch.
Awesome. And your last one?
Last one, that'd be tough. Might have to throw Herschel Walker in there. Georgia running back. Yeah,
there you go. Nice.
Georgia legend.
Nice. What didn't he do like 1,000 push-ups a day or something crazy? He was a beast.
Yeah.
Training.
Yeah. So growing up, he said he was always overweight and kind of chubby, and then he always got picked on. So one summer he decided he was gonna lose all the weight. So all he did was push-ups and sit-ups, and that was his workout pretty much his whole career, he said. Very
cool. Well, Sepp, this has been awesome. I felt like I got to play Jim Nantz for like 30 minutes today, so pretty exciting. But what we need to do is, when you win the tournament, one of the tournaments this year, we'll have to do this again. And we can replay some of the scenes from the tournament and talk through what you were thinking.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah,
hopefully
awesome.
It's Colonial.
Yeah. I love it. So, well, thanks so much, man. Good luck with everything. We're looking forward to watching you this year, and really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for all the support, and I hope y'all have a quick recovery from the coronavirus.
Awesome. All right. Take care.
Thank you. See y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for joining the webinar. And we will have a recording of the webinar up within a few days on our website and share with the audience. And everyone have a wonderful Friday afternoon. Thank you, Sepp, for joining us today.